Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
And I'm Tom, a West Ham fan.
And this is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of your team being last on match of the day and not getting the flowers they deserve? Well, that's all about to change because we're going to shine a light on those other 14 teams. Tom, what do we have for the listeners this week?
This week we had Gruda snatching City's chips for the Seagulls. We've got to talk about those smash and grab hammers. And Can We Play You Every Week? Sing Palace fans to Villa. Elsewhere, Fulham and Burnley were robbed. Bournemouth snatched Spurs chain. The fun ain't stopping for Everton, and Sunderland just love playing at home. How you doing, man?
As you can sound, I'm not doing great. I've got a pretty bad cold at the moment, sustained from my
sound like shit.
Yeah, sustained from my late night adventures in Birmingham over the weekend. So yeah, for any listeners that have issues with hearing people maybe snort and whatnot, this might be one of the podcasts to miss. I'm going to try to edit out as much as I can. And I also have a drill going on in me, so every now and then you might hear that, listeners, just a pre-podcast warning. But apart from that, Tom, I'm all good. How you been?
Smooth sailing. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Busy with work and everything, and just watching all of the football. Not much in my personal life, but I was thinking about what I was going to intro with, and I think one thing I've got to put out as a music recommendation. I've been absolutely banging an album by a band called Wet Leg called Moisturiser. They're an Isle of Wight band, and really, really good. Really recommend that. You
just discovered Wet Leg. They're not that big from what I hear.
They're fucking huge, but I was just got into them recently.
Did you not get done by the Shays Long song that went on for that was everywhere at every point? It was even on Match of Day 2 highlights, I think, or something as well.
I must have been oblivious to it, but yeah, it's a cracker.
Hey, to be fair, we both probably don't flaunt the biggest music fucking knowledge. Well, maybe not knowledge, but most.
No, you're usually keeping up with a lot of new music.
Nah, that's definitely not us, is it? I don't think my playlists have changed since last 10 years. Oh god, yeah, cool. Okay, let's take a break, then get into the football action. Okay, and we're back. So Tom, where do you want to start this week with our reviews?
I think we've got to start at the Amex, mate. I know it hurts you as a a Palace fan, but Brighton beating Man City 2-1 down at the Amex, a last-minute winner from Brian Gruda. I think that was probably, I don't think it was the surprise result of the weekend, but probably the headline stealer. And I know you don't really want to talk about Brighton too much, so I've reached out to a friend of the pod, Alex Lovett from the Seagulls Reddit, and he's come in with his match report for us.
Cool, let's insert that in here then.
Hey everyone on the Other 14 podcast. I'm Alex, Brighton season ticket holder and Brightonian. I was at our victory on Sunday, and here's some of my thoughts from the match. I thought both teams started slow. Lots of messy football, misplaced passes, wasn't the highest quality game. We had a few chances. The best one in the first half was from Matoma, but probably the most entertaining part of the first half was honestly frustrating Erling Haaland until his goal. JPV, H and Dunk kind of double teamed him, and there was a bit of handbags after Haaland shot straight at Verbruggen, with between him and Jean-Paul Van Hecker, which was funny. Referee was weird in the first half, gave away some drop balls to them after we'd had possession and their players had fallen over. It was all a bit scrappy and bitty, and not a great match at all. They eventually scored. Marmoush bundled a ball through to Haaland, who had really very little to do, and obviously slotted it away, which didn't exactly put the cherry on the cake, right? It wasn't a great first half. So into the second half, and again, City started coming forward. All looked as though it would be much of the same. However, we made 4 substitutions after 15 minutes, bringing on Jorginho Ruta, Ayari, Gruda, and the youth prospect James Milner. Not many people have heard of him. And instantly, we started attacking far more effectively. That front four, Matoma, Rutter and Gruda, along with Ayari as well, helping them support from the mid was just unbelievable. And we broke again and again, chance after chance, testing their keeper again and again. He made some couple of really good saves. And then eventually we broke again, ball went out to Dunk. He put it into the box and it hit defender's arm, clear pen. And I was screaming for Milner to take it. We needed a clear head at this point, and that's what we got. Milner slotted it away and then made a lovely tribute to Diego Jota. And then we carried on attacking and breaking in numbers. We were brilliant. Just kept on catching them off guard, kept on getting them hard behind them. Gruda, on another break at pace, managed to get behind the defence and was able to calmly place the ball beyond Trafford after jinking past their defence in what was a very good goal for a young player. He'd also scored a very good goal against Oxford earlier in the week. And yeah, the place erupted. We held on, which is something we're bad at sometimes, but we held on. City didn't look great, to be honest. They didn't have a shot on goal in the second half, and we really needed a win after a poor start. And a fantastic result to take us into the international break. Cheers all.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Alex. Yeah, thanks, Tom, for getting someone else to talk about so I didn't have to this week. But now, all jokes aside, looking at the game, I think the main focus, the main point I took away from seeing the highlights was those 4 changes really made the difference for Brighton, didn't they?
100%, yeah. I mean, it was a really sort of drab game, even though City were 1-0 up by that point, like the first hour, just especially from a Brighton point of view, really, they didn't do a lot. Like, they really struggled to create any chances or anything. But those 4 changes by Hertzler completely changed the game, and really it was one-way traffic from then on. And like, they get the penalty. I think it's a clear penalty. Like, I'm usually on the defender's side, but Nunez's arm is so high, and like I can't really argue with that one.
Yeah, from my notes, there weren't many on the game. Had nice nutmeg on Lewis Dunk for the City goal, as any Palace fan would probably note that more than anything. City should have been 2-0 up with an Oscar Bob miss, but like I said, 4 changes definitely swung in Brian's favour. And as much as I'd love to disagree with the penalty, I think it's a definite penalty as well. So I'd agree with you in exactly what you said there.
Yeah, and then up steps old man James Milner, haunting his old side. He is now the second oldest Premier League goal scorer. Do you know the first one, or have you heard it on the commentary? Or
oh damn, Teddy Sheringham.
Yes.
I didn't hear that on
United.
Yeah, I didn't hear that on the commentary, but I just thought, nice. I love that. That's crazy. Yeah. He's going to keep that forever, really, isn't he? Like, that's a mad one. Because I thought it was in his Pompey days with like the TY on the logo on the t-shirt, but it was actually West Ham. Mad.
Yeah, and he was over 40, and you just don't see many players playing over 40, let alone like in the Premier League. So yeah, unless Milner sticks around and can manage to do so in the next couple of years. But yeah, no, I mean, as I say, like the 4 subs came on, and each highlight was just 4 or 5 Brighton players running directly into the City defence.
Mate, and it was proper direct as well, isn't
really
it?
Really like arrows. Like,
it's crazy. Like, you don't really notice it that much, like when you're watching football or watching highlights. But they're not even looking at the ball. It's just direct down, 4 of them sprinting all at once towards the goal. And yeah, I was a bit like, that's either really like gonna work or it's just losing your head madness a bit. But it obviously worked, and it put City on the back foot, which I don't think City are good at dealing with at the moment.
No, I mean, Brighton have a pretty good record against City over recent years, and in this one, that tactic really worked for them late on in the game. Like, whether it's tired defence or like the fresh legs that Hertzler brought on, there was clearly a different tactic employed, much more direct in the latter stages of the game, and it worked wonders for them. And I'm so happy for my boy Brian Gruda. Like, you know, like I've mentioned him on the pod a few times. Young German international, came over. Probably would have liked him to have stayed in the Bundesliga for a little bit longer, and matured a little bit more than coming straight over to the Premier League last season. It was in and out of the team, and even so far this season, he's not. I don't think he's started every game. I think he's sort of come on as a sub in most. So I'm really happy for him to get the winner. Like, I thought it was a really nice, composed, skillful finish. Like, specifically the composure part of it, because he kind of does one of the defenders, and quite more often than not, you'll see a player hit that first time or hit it into the defender because he's just so like antsy to get it like out of his feet and get the shot away. Whereas Gruda showed really good mentality to take the second, let the defender go down, and then got the shot away. And it was too much for James Trafford in goal.
Yeah, it was a tidy finish. All ends up, in all honesty. And I just want to say to you, do you think that maybe kickstarts Brighton's season a bit? Like, I think it's a massive result for them, obviously, but has it come at the right time, just before the international break, or do you think it's come at the worst time? And do you think it'll be something that they'll be able to build on straight after the international break? So 3 quick fires for you there.
Well, I mean, it's all pretty much the same question, isn't it? Yeah. It's like I think they needed to get the points on the board. I think maybe result mattered more than performance in this one. I think similar to the next game we'll get on to, just getting those points on the board was really big. But I don't think Brighton played that badly in the first 2 games, so I wasn't panicking about Brighton, even though some of their fans might have been like, you're desperate to get points on the board early, but they were playing pretty well, and at least in phases they were playing really well. So for them to get this win, I think it's a really nice. I'm always a fan. Like, I mean, it's an easy thing to say, but I love getting a win before the international break, because if you don't get that win, those 2 weeks feel so long. Like, you know it very well, I know it very well, as like Palace and West Ham fans. You lose that, or you go in to the international break on a bad run of form, and you're just like, it feels miserable for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's miserable. It's nice because you don't have to watch your team for 2 weeks. It's one of the two, ain't it?
But I don't think Brighton have to worry about that, and they got the bonus of getting the points on the board in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can probably move on to the next game, but before we do, just want to say massive thank you to Alex Lovett. And yeah, just want to say, if anyone out there listening ever wants to send in any recordings of how they feel about their team that week, please feel free. We want to be a bit of a community podcast here, so you're not just listening to our probably dreadful insights, well, not even insights, awful views every now and then.
Our pub chat.
Yeah, our pub chat. So yeah, feel free to bring your own pub chat in. Yeah, and you can get the email at other14fcpodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, so where do you want to move on to, Tom? I'm pretty sure I know where you want to move on to now, but where do you want to go?
We've got to talk about them smash and grab hammers. Like, this game went perfectly from a West Ham point of view. I was very happy with the defending. Like, I thought I would have been happy with a 0-0. Like, all we needed the most in that game was a clean sheet, and just to get away with a point. I didn't anticipate us. In fact, I predicted 3-0, but the other way around. And so for us to get all 3 points and 3 goals late on in this game, I couldn't be happier.
Mate, I'm not going to lie to you. Where was I on this? This was Sunday, wasn't it? Yes, I was in Birmingham getting ready for our game. And I'm not going to lie, I sat there, saw us in the 84th minute, 0-0, and I was like, yes, a game we're not going to have to talk about this week. And then all 3 went in, and I was like, great, a game we're probably going to talk the most about this weekend. But, yeah.
100%, I'm going to go for 10 minutes.
But yeah, my views of the game, basically, nothing. Shoot me down if I'm wrong, but it seemed like nothing really happened for 80 odd minutes, and then everything was condensed into that last 20 minutes with the added time, obviously. And yeah, it was just, once you got the first goal through Bowen, well, Forest basically looking to go on the attack and you were picking them off. It seemed a bit like that, and the penalty, which I think was a penalty, if I'm being... Yeah, it definitely was a penalty. I'm thinking of a different game. Somerville looked really sharp for you, on that counter-attack. And then once the second one goes in, it should have really been, well, it was 3 obviously, but it could have been 4, couldn't it, with Callum Wilson taking the ball off Bowen's feet for what would have been goal of the season contender. Yeah,
it would have been amazing if Bowen had got that, because the run was insane. But yeah, I mean, talk about this game a little bit more. I think West Ham were really defensively solid, but as much as West Ham were defensively solid, playing a back 4, mind you, that Forest just didn't create anything at all. Wood couldn't get in the game. Gibbs White was nullified and shadowed at times by Thomas Souček, and it looked like it had an effect on him, whether it's just this game or it just bad Morgan Gibbs White turned up. But he was like, his passing was poor, he wasn't getting into threatening positions, like he had a through ball late on and he just absolutely like almost hoofs it out of touch. Like Igor Jesus had no chance of getting onto it.
It's so strange that, isn't it? Because like I had the complete opposite view of Forest 2 weeks ago now, where that midfield too were just bossing everything, and everything they did looked like it was gonna come off and be stylish. It's crazy.
I mean, they didn't test Hermansen at all in this game, and like, given he's just come off conceding 5 to Chelsea, 3 to Sunderland, like you had to put more like shots on target, even if they were long range. And that, to be fair to them, they were putting crosses in, but Kilman and Mavropanos were getting their head on everything, like clearing it. Like, so Souček was getting involved. I say it was a back four. At times, Souček seemed to drop into it to like make it sort of a back three, but it was a tactic that I've not really seen Potter deploy before with us, but it worked really well. Like Souček almost had a bit of a free role to like either fill in as an extra defender or at times get forward as one of the attackers, which is generally like Souček's best role. Like he doesn't have legs to do it, like he's not like particularly pacey about it, but he picks up really good positions at times, and like whether that's defensive positions or attacking ones. But yeah, I mean the main man was Crescencio Somerville. Like him coming on in the last 10 minutes just completely changed the game. He's the only player really in our squad who can pick up the ball and run at pace. Like Bowen can run with the ball, but he doesn't have the pace that Somerville does, and West Ham fans have been crying out to see Somerville. Like he signed last summer, came off the bench a few times, scored a couple of goals, looked all right, and then in Potter's first game he looked really, really good, actually playing as a wing back, interestingly enough, and then he got a hamstring injury and has been out since January with it just keep like recurring, and couldn't get back on the pitch. So I'm praying that this isn't a 10-minute cameo that we see from him, and he works his way back to full fitness and really stakes this claim, because I think he's 23 now, so like kind of the age where he needs to be playing week in, week out in the Premier League and showcasing his talent.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those people you got from Leeds where I was pretty jealous when you got him. I thought he would have slotted into our team quite well, maybe even as at least a replacement for us, just to be direct and just be going like towards the defence and put him on the back foot. What makes you think that it could be more defensively solid with the setup Potter put forward? Do you think the signing of Fernandes made that possible for you?
Yeah, Matty Fernandes was unreal. He didn't do too much in this game, but just you could tell he was a step above like who had been playing in the midfield for us. Like he was able to get about defensively, but also show quality on the ball, like making the right passes, looking forward as well as looking side to side. Where we've had our midfield has just been looking backwards for the past few games. No one's been looking forward, and with Fernandes and Paqueta like mixing in there, because like Fernandes kind of started on the left but would roam into central positions quite a lot. He just looked really comfortable, and he'd only been training with the club for like 2 days, so for him to come straight into the first team and look as good as he did is really, really positive signs. And we signed another midfielder, Magassa from Monaco, who should probably slot into that sort of central defensive midfield role and sort of take JWP out of the team, because this was a complete performance from West Ham. Like as much as they were like sitting back and being defensively solid and then got the goals in the last 10 minutes, everyone out there except for maybe James Ward-Prowse and Füllkrug was 8 out of 10. Like I think everyone put everything on the line. Like you saw the passion from Paqueta after he scored the penalty, and rubbished any rumours that he was going to Villa, and just showed.
I wasn't expecting that, because you were pretty downhearted and pretty resigned to him going, weren't you, at one point? I remember
earlier in the summer. Yeah, I thought like he was probably going to leave once the court, like the betting thing had been resolved. It felt like Paqueta was probably going to go, but then sort of as the window kept getting closer and closer to the edge, it was like to the end, it was like you can't let him leave at this point. Like, hearing that he was going to go to Villa on Saturday was like, all right, well, okay, we've brought in Fernandes, but they're supposed to be playing together, really. Like, we don't want to lose Paqueta at this stage and have no one to bring in. Like, that would have been absolutely gutting.
I feel like you're foreshadowing something we'll probably talk about later.
Probably, very much. Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'll say in this game, from a Forest point of view, is I did put a fantasy Premier League curse on Forest by captaining Chris Wood, because I thought he was going to score a hat-trick against us, so I may as well like offset my misery by like, hey, I got some fantasy points, but actually it just worked out to curse all of Forest.
Yeah, it's an interesting one just from a Forest point of view. Do you think they got anything to worry about with that, especially with the rumours around, circulating around Nuno going into the international break?
I mean, I checked in on like the Forest like Instagram comments and the Reddit and that to gauge what the sort of response was from actual Forest fans, and there was a lot of panicking. I think a lot of like dejection that they didn't like win or didn't do more against us. Like they came into that thinking like fairly comfortably favourites, given form, given where West Ham had been in the previous week. And they really didn't do anything to take this game by the horn and win it. Like they have that tactic of like they want the other team to have the ball and they'll like press you into making a mistake and then capitalise on that. But in this game they just didn't really do that to an efficient level. And yeah, I mean, there were people calling for Nuno to leave. Like, obviously there's been all those rumours recently. I think there's maybe some ill feeling towards him, that he's possibly upset the apple cart at the wrong time, like at the start of a season where they kind of wanted everyone to be as galvanised as they were last year, and then like his press conference kind of set the tone for the start of the season for them.
Yeah, it does feel like Forest fans have been like, he's been the one that's kind of soured it all, which it's fair enough, I guess. Like, they're never going to have the season that they had last year, and I think we even warned it during our predictions or at the end of last season. It's like, what's going to happen if there's a drop-off of the fans going to get on the manager's back straight away? Is Maranaka's going to basically lose his head on it all? But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for us. I reckon they'll turn it round over the international break and come back probably strong, but
I mean, they've made a lot of signings. They even got Zinchenko in last night.
That's a weird one. Like, it just feels like a lot of their signings are doing them just because they can do them as well. But I guess I'd rather have someone doing that than what Palace do, which is basically sign no one until the very end and create problems for ourselves.
Well, talking of, should we go on to your favourite time of kickoff, Sunday at 7 p.m?
Yeah, Sunday 7 p.m. in good old Birmingham. I mean, I love Birmingham, not going to lie, so I had a great weekend up there. Annoyed I got my cold up there, I won't lie. But yeah, it did feel a bit weird going to a game on a Sunday evening. Actually did this one solo because no one else I could find was stupid enough to come to a game with me at that time. But yeah, had a nice weekend stay with my friends up there, though, at least. And yeah, the game, nothing really happened to begin with, if I'm being honest. Both teams didn't really look like they were up for it. But then I think we maybe didn't take control of the game, but we played the tactic we always play against Villa, which is basically put it over the top or try and go through them, get them on the turn, and they seem to shit their pants.
Yeah, I don't know why you were so pessimistic about this game beforehand, thinking that Villa were going to win, because like Palace just played how Palace play. Like, you're right, they started really lethargic, like they just had a big Sunday roast before, because the first 20-25 minutes of that game were rubbish. But once Palace got into their gear, they just looked comfortable for the rest of the game, really. Yeah,
well, my plan was to leave, because basically if I wanted to get home and be able to get a tube back to where I live, I needed to leave that game at like 8:25. So when nothing happened in the first 20 minutes, I was like, okay, cool, I'm definitely going to be leaving here early. Don't usually leave games early, but I was like, I don't really want to spend the best part of 100 quid on an Uber to get home from Euston. Like, I was like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, this is looking good. Maybe Villa get a goal and I've got more reason to leave. Then Daichi goes through. I think it's a clear pen. We get that, and I'm like, great, I'm going to be here to the bitter end now. On the penalty, like,
Bezo from Villa, who was playing in goal because there were rumours Emi Martinez might be off to Man United. Bezo did really well against Newcastle in the opening game, but there's a reason he's a journeyman keeper. He's played for most of the time in the Dutch or the French leagues for lesser fancied sides, and for the penalty he just looked like a slow goalkeeper. He just got completely done by Daichi.
Just didn't look match sharp throughout all of it. We'll come on to it, but the Gahey goal, I think his positioning for that is dreadful.
Yeah, and also for the penalty, Cash playing offside so incredibly late. It was poor that from Villa.
It really was. I mean, if we're going to touch on Villa now, I'll just say I think they'll sort it out now. They brought Harvey Elliott and Sancho in, but there were big points in that game where I was stood there looking at Villa being like, they are clueless right now. I don't know if we were defending exceptionally well. I don't think we really had to get our first give, I'm being brutally honest. They had the Watkins chance, but apart from that, there was so much passing sideways, so much going backwards and not probing at us at all. And I could understand why most of the Villa fans left after the second goal went in, because they weren't getting back into that game. They had a good period at the beginning of the second half when they made some changes.
Yeah. When Dia came on at half time, he kind of unlocked Morgan Rogers and got him on the ball in really dangerous positions. But it was really about 15 minutes or so for about after half time, and then they started they just left so much space open, and Gahey just walked through the whole pitch and then scored an absolute worldie. Yeah,
my thing on that, and I noticed Mark does it a bit in games where he'll take the ball and drive forward, but he was doing especially a lot in this game. I don't know if that's because Villa were giving him the space, or if it was because in the back of his mind he wanted that to be his last game, so he was like, screw it, nothing can go wrong now, I'm going to see how far I can get and get a goal. And the goal was sensational. It was a real outpouring of emotion for Palace fans and Mark himself. I think you can see in Mark's celebration when he came over, he must have been thinking at that point, this is my one of my last things I'm going to do with Palace.
100%. I mean, it should have been if everything had been sorted, it would have been his last moment in a Palace shirt. And just on that, what are your feelings about him staying? Obviously, it seemed like you couldn't get in someone to replace him. So, you're happy that he's staying, or
I think
would you rather the money?
No, at this point he had to stay. With the Glasner quotes after the game, at this point he had to stay. But there's so many things with it. I've kind of summed it up quite well when I was talking to my mates about it this morning. It was Palace can be blamed for fucking it up and not having a replacement. Completely weird. But if we were going to sell him, we should have done it early doors in the window, being yep, Mark, you go in, 100%, get the replacement in after we've got the money. But at the end of the day, Liverpool did what Liverpool do when it comes to negotiations like this. They leave it till last moment to put the bid in, because they know the player will want to go to them, and they're going to get into a rock and a hard, put the selling club into a rock and a hard place, which Palace were put into. We had a play out contract, so it's either we have to take 35 mil, which for Mark Gahey is so underpriced, and Liverpool laughing if they get that, or we keep him and get nothing. If the manager, who's our greatest ever manager, is I'm going to leave if you get rid of him and don't get a adequate replacement in, it's a no-brainer, really. You can't really lose your manager, captain, and best ever defender in one fatal swoop. And I don't buy the narrative that we were the ones that completely fucked it and we put Mark in a bad place and it's all our fault. If Liverpool wanted him that badly, why did they make the bid on the last day? And why didn't they make a bid of 40 million or give us Gomez in response to get the player they wanted? I think if I'm Mark Gahey, and I know, he's a sensible person for the way he acts and everything, I think he's probably looking at both sides of the coin and being I've been screwed by Palace by them giving me the green light and saying I can go, but I've also been screwed by Liverpool because they clearly didn't want me that badly.
I have to. My one real hot, passionate take on it is Mark Gahey conducted himself unreal throughout this transfer saga. When you look at what's happening over in Newcastle with their former striker and how he acted throughout the summer, you just got to really sort of tip your cap to Mark Gahey. He acted like a captain. He kept turning out for Palace, kept showing up, putting everything on the line. you'd be disappointed, but you wouldn't necessarily blame a player for like putting their future career into their own hands, and like sort of being like, like in this game he probably could have said to Glasner like, I don't want to play or whatever, like, or can I not play, like, or can I be on the bench or something. Like, it would have been gutting for you obviously, but at least it would have, like, it's quite common for players to do that, but yeah, he didn't do any of that, and he showed up and he got a goal. And yeah, I mean, from my point of view, like, I think he can look at the positives, and he'll be playing week in, week out for a team ahead of a World Cup year next year, I believe. Like, his England place will be assured if he stays fit. He'll get a massive signing on fee next summer. Like, obviously Palace probably won't get any money for him unless he does them a solid and signs like a mini contract or something, but that probably feels far-fetched. But like, I think, and from a Palace point of view, you're in the Conference League, like, maybe keeping on to Gay was that important that you'd be able to make a run in that competition, whereas you get a new centre-back in, you never know if it's going to fit straight away.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you do the maths of it, which I don't think anyone in the Liverpool, I don't want to say media, but Liverpool Twitter space will do or think about, if we sold them Mark A for 35 mil, we have I think it's 15 to 20% sell-on clause to Chelsea, so that's a large chunk of that money gone straight away. If keeping Mark gets us deep into the Conference League and gets us like 4 more places in the Prem, the net profit we probably make off that deal is 5 million, and it's just, that is not worth it if you're losing your manager there as well. But yeah, that's
the most maths you've ever done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking pub maths, but you get the gist of it. But yeah, I think my last take on it all is like, the Liverpool Twitter space or social media space is fucking vile when it comes to shit like this. Like, I've not experienced it before because we've never come close to selling anyone to Liverpool, but my fucking god, it was crazy last night. I've never seen it before. Like, even when Lise was going to Chelsea and we had that like last minute pullout where he ended up signing a contract for us, it wasn't that bad. But I'm now seeing pictures of like worst Austrians in the world, and it's like Hitler and fucking Glasner next to each other. Oh. And I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? Like, it's real, you can tell, it's not real top 6 fans, you can probably tell it's like weird trolls that live in places, but it's fucking strange, man. Like, I don't know why it's like that. And it seems like the media, like the actual media now, are loving to push a narrative like Mark should have acted like Isak and Wissa because he would have got his move. It's like, you're really pushing that agenda now, and you're basically trying to fucking ruin football for everyone.
We'll talk about more about that next week. We're going to do a little transfers episode during the international break and sort of like look back on a few of the transfer stories and signings and that. So we'll probably touch on the general feeling of the transfer window, I think, next week, and how the big 6 have been looked after this transfer window from a media and a budget point of view, I think.
Yeah, 100%. So listen out for that next week, listeners. But yeah, back to the game, just quickly touching on the last few bits. Worried about the injuries we picked up. I think I was more worried about us losing this game because of the Conference League game on the Thursday and thinking we'd be tired. And it's clear we were tired because we lost Wharton and Sarr to injuries. Wharton now missing out on his England call-up. I'm hoping that one's not too long. And that Sarr one, I'm really hoping it's not too long because we vitally need him. And then we had an introduction of Jeremy Pino, who looked fucking dynamite. I'm really looking forward to watching him play for us now. He seemed a lot more direct and a lot more, like, I don't want to say skillful on the ball than Eze, because he's definitely, I've not seen enough of that, but he was very much like, he was very tidy, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said last week, like, really quick, like, technically good player, like, he'll get you on your feet. So, yeah, plenty more to see from Pino. My only last take on it is the yellow card for Mateta's celebration. The game's gone. We're like,
I'm only thinking that's been given because he's kicked the corner flag out of the ground.
Yeah, but that's fuck that.
I know. Fuck that. I don't agree with it.
He had a bit too much boom on that one, and the corner flag went out the ground. It takes 1 second to put it back.
Yeah, if he gets booked doing it normally and the flag doesn't go out of the ground, then I'm going to be fucking livid. I'm going to use this podcast as a fucking platform to like abuse the FA.
We'll save that for the Mateta episode.
Special one to the PGMOL. But yeah, Yeah, last take, even though I said last take, 7 p.m. kickoffs on a Sunday. If they win, they're good, but I still didn't get home till like 3 in the morning, and it was the best part of 100 quid from a taxi from Euston back to Morden. So
Yeah.
So fuck you, Prem. That's all I can say. Fuck you, big time.
Fuck the broadcasters.
Fuck the broadcasters. Cool. Okay. What game do you want to move on to next?
Let's go for Bournemouth, man. Like they went away and they absolutely smashed Tottenham, even though it was 1-0. They smashed them.
Did you see the stat? I don't believe in expected goals, but I want to believe it for this one. Do you know what Spurs' expected goals were in this game?
I didn't see it, but honestly, I would be like 0.12.
0.17.
Oh, I was pretty fucking close.
You were fucking well close. That's fucking ludicrous.
I mean, it looks like that. It was one-way traffic throughout the whole game. Like, I mean, they got the goal really early from Evanilson, and they honestly should have won this like
10-0.
5, 6, 7, 8. Like, honestly, 10-0 wouldn't have been a bad shout.
No, it generally wouldn't have. Like, Semenyo had that chance that he should have got in that went over the bar. It was quite similar to some of the chances he missed the week before. They had the penalty that they should have had where Kudos kicked Zanetti. I don't know how... I mean, I think we're going to talk a lot about VAR and some other games, so maybe let's not touch on it too much here, but I don't know how that isn't given as a penalty. And yeah, it was just one-way traffic.
Yeah, and it felt like... It didn't even feel like towards the end that it was like, oh, Spurs are going to make Bournemouth pay for not getting that second. It still felt like, even though Spurs had a couple of later chances, like they weren't particularly good chances. Like they were just slightly wide. But like Bournemouth, like I'm glad they got away with not losing this game or not drawing this game. Like they got away with it just scoring one, because like you probably would have expected them to have scored. Like you would have wanted them to have scored more. Given the amount of chances they created, like the quality of them as well, they really should have won this 3-4. So like, if I had to do any criticism, it would be like, how did you not win by more? Like, you got to work on your finishing, Bournemouth, because this should have been a rout.
You say that, work on the finishing, but the goal itself was a lucky goal.
Oh, I mean, the assist from Senesi was nice, and massive deflection. So if they don't get that big slice of luck, they could have come out of this game 0-0, which would have been insane. It
is insane, isn't it? I mean, was it Spurs' first shot came on in like the 68th minute, or the first one on target at least. And yeah, you've got to just look at the management of Bournemouth, and I think we talk about it every week almost. He's doing something really right there to get this team playing like that, and yeah, you just got to be hats off to him.
Yeah, and that's 2 wins from 3 for Bournemouth. Obviously, they got the win before over Wolves, and this one, like, they've won the last 2 1-0, but they're creating loads of chances, as you say. Under Iraola, they're going to create all day, and they just think they need to get a few more goals. Yeah,
but that's the thing, like, we said we weren't worried about them going forward. It was defensively, but I think they've been sound enough defensively, like...
they look comfortable in this game.
Yeah, I mean, has he just made standard players look really good, or do you think the Bournemouth defenders that they've sold were just that good? What do you think? I haven't caught up with how they're doing elsewhere, if I'm being honest, so I don't know.
I mean, I think they've replaced them pretty well, and I think the system, the style that they play, it actually does lend itself to having like decent defenders, like a decent defensive record. I think they've really been able to sort of stifle the opposition attacks, but they've also, in this game particularly, their pressing was insane. Like they made Tottenham make loads of mistakes in the attacking third for Bournemouth, which that's going to help your defense all day long. Like if the defense aren't having to make runs and chase the ball, or they're not sitting deep and defending for too long. If the attack are performing the way they did at the Tottenham Stadium and winning the ball so high, it just gives you defence less chance to make any mistakes or to become under pressure, sort of thing. They didn't feel under pressure at all in this game, and I definitely think that's because Iraola put them on the front foot, and the way they were pressing was just perfect for Bournemouth.
Yeah, 100%. Bournemouth are just not a team I'm looking forward to playing home or away this season, if I'm being brutally honest, and I imagine you feel the same.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I thought they'd be all right. I didn't think the defensive replacements were going to have too negative an impact on them. I know they got another couple in towards the end of the window, so might touch on those next week. But yeah, I thought the way that they kept the attack together and even made a couple of improvements there, I think it's going to be another good season for Bournemouth.
Yeah, 100%. Where do you want to move on to next then, games-wise?
Let's go for one that there were plenty of goals in. Wolves 2, Everton 3.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy to start there. And I think I said I'm looking forward to watching Jack Grealish play. And yeah, he just looks he looks phenomenal. Like, even from the highlights, I was just there like, fuck, why couldn't we have signed him? I'd love to have a player like him in my club again. It reminds me of like Wilfried Zaha, Lise, just a tricky winger that just wants to have fun and create. Well, just have fun and play football, play exciting football. And that's what it looked like he was doing the whole game. Gets, 4 assists in 2 games, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 4?
Yeah,
4 and 2. Cool. And yeah, he looked like he was running the show. And it's one of those things where they now have him on one side and Dar on the other. You can't double team 2 players, so one of them's always going to be free. And that seems like what happens for the first goal, isn't it? Where goes through, puts it across the box, and dies at the back post, just ready to tap it in.
Yeah, I mean, Grealish has had an absolute dream start to life at Everton. He's really opening space for everyone around him. Like, as you say, you can't double team both of them. Someone's going to have some space, whether it's Ndiaye on the other side or maybe like Dewsbury Hall popping up or Beto in the box. There was one point and one highlight I saw, I don't think anything came from it, but there were 4 players on Grealish because they were just like so... all the defenders from Wolves were drawn to him. It was like, don't let him do that, like unpick you with a bit of magic or something. And that just has a knock-on effect that someone's going to be free in or around the box. Like, it's just a matter of numbers. You can't have 4 players on one attacker, and that's what Grealish has been able to do so well. Like, I think I'm surprised it's gone so well so quickly because we hadn't seen Jack Grealish for a while. Like, he didn't really play that much last season. He's I think he's 30 now or 29. When he was linked with West Ham, I was hesitant. I wasn't really comfortable with going for him, but that is also possibly a West Ham situation. I don't think he would have plugged into our team, who were shipping goals before this week, as well as he has done with Everton, who under Moyes, much more sort of solid setup, and give him the license to, like, you're our luxury player, Jack. Like, you go, like, stay up there. As I said last week, like, we'll cover for you in defensive terms. We want you to be fresh and ready to do your magic in the final third. And yeah, I have to say that I think it's a perfect home for Jack Grealish. Everton fans look like they're absolutely loving him at the end of the game. They were pulling him into the crowd, giving him hugs and stuff. Like, he looks very happy. It's a perfect match.
Yeah, but I think 100%. I was going to say the same thing when you bring it up, because I thought Everton were going to have a good season, as you saw from my predictions, where at them finishing, I think 9th it was. And yeah, I think he was the perfect man coming in for him at the perfect time, and it's worked out so well. Like you say, it's opening space for them. I don't see where it goes wrong for Everton at the moment, because Beto looks like he could be the man with the goal there, and then they have, is it Barry that comes on as well? Is it Barry or Harry, the other striker? It's Barry, isn't it?
Tierney Barry.
Yeah, Barry. And it just, yeah, I can't see where it goes wrong for Everton, really. Like, it sounds so stupid, but I'm very happy for them. They're a fan base that I think deserves some happiness now for a bit.
For sure, they've had a few struggle years. Like, they deserve, and Moyes deserves it as well. Like, I've said multiple times, I don't hold a grudge to him as a West Ham fan. He gave me the greatest night of my West Ham support in life, and I'm glad to see him doing well at Everton. It was time for us to part ways, but he looks revived and back home and happy in Merseyside. I think Everton generally deserved the win in this game. They generally looked the better team for maybe 70-75 minutes, and then I think Wolves kind of got into it once they started. They got a goal back, made it 3-2, and they started chasing the game a little bit, and probably felt like they had chances. Like, they definitely had chances to equalised. Rodrigo Gomez late on was really lively. He had a couple of good chances, but overall in this game, I think Everton were worthy of getting away with the win.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I mean, Wolves finally got the cutback to work with the first goal, and I think I've seen them use that cutback in every single game for Strand Larsen's, where he's missed a couple of them. But was it Wang Hee-chan? Did I pronounce that correctly? I think I did.
You did.
Yeah,
you did. Well done.
He got that one to work. So yeah, I think that's going to be another tactic we see from Wolves throughout the whole season. But weirdly enough, even though they've not had a good start, I don't think they have any points on the board yet, do they? I'm not that worried for Wolves. I think it's going to click. I've got faith in Pereira as a manager for some reason for them. No,
I'm a little concerned, but I might just be reading into 0 points after 3 games too much. But if that was West Ham 0 points after 3 games, Wolves have been in more games than West Ham were. That's fair to say. Like they only lost to Bournemouth 1-0. They were in that game throughout it. This game they could have got away with a point if they'd have managed to get one of those late chances in. But maybe I'm just reading into 0 points after 3 games too much. But I just think they've lost a bit of quality throughout the squad. Obviously, in this one, they didn't have Jorgen Strand Larsen playing. He was
minor injury. Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird one to say what he was, wasn't it? Apparently, it's a minor injury, and I'm probably going to go off it being a minor injury because it's not like he's been a dick about wanting to move. They've had.
I mean, he was at the game. To be fair, like. It was he didn't pull an Isaac and stay away or anything. So yeah,
didn't pull a dick, did he? No.
Didn't pull a dickhead move like Isaac.
Oh god, but no, cool. Anything else you want to touch on that game, or should we move on to what I think's the last win for another 14 side this weekend?
Just lastly, I think I was quite surprised that there wasn't a penalty for Wolves from a tackle from Ndiaye on Hugo Bueno. I think it was just a penalty.
I think it was a penalty as well, actually. That's the one where he gets top of his foot, isn't it?
Yeah, and it kind of like we've seen them given.
100%.
That's why I was surprised that they didn't overturn it. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about VAR. This wasn't the most egregious one. We'll get on to the most egregious ones, but yeah, let's go on to the last win for the other 14 teams, and Sunderland back home at it again, 2-1 over Brentford.
Mate, yeah, one of my main notes from this is like the Stadium of Light seems to be the place to be this season if you want to watch a football game, and it just seems like the fucking noise, like as soon as you get the highlights on, all you're hearing is the crowd. It's like, Jesus, this must be so good.
The crowd noise at kickoff. Yeah, the crowd noise at kickoff is unreal, and then after the penalty save later in the game, it was raucous. Like you could tell that absolutely got their tails right back up, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go for it again," and that really spurred them on to the win in the end. It
really did. I don't want to shit on Brentford again, like I did with their first game with their kit being horrendous. But Jesus Christ, I think that one's even worse.
The poo brown kit.
Shit stained brown, yeah. To go with their boring, I don't even know what colour, lilac and orange strip kit. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, bad kits this season for Brentford.
Some weird choices there. But Atara looked busy once again for him, had a disallowed go early on. So I think, he's settled into life quite well there, Brentford. Brentford pen is definitely a pen for me. I mean,
which one?
Which one? The one that gets given, the one where Ronaldo rugby tackled.
Yeah, the second one on Collins, where there was a original one on Collins that wasn't given. I think the first one could have been given. It would have been a bit soft, but if you're going to give the second one, I'm surprised you don't give the first one. Yeah, well, I'll touch on this now, actually, because it was pointed out to me in another podcast I listened to. Anthony Taylor, as a referee, you may start noting this over the next few weeks or over the season. He will let fouls go for large parts of the game, and he won't give cards for large parts of the game. And then he'll give little flutters towards a part of the second half or towards the end of the game where he'll give foul, 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 yellow card, yellow card, yellow card for things that he hasn't already. And I have a feeling it might be one of those things where he's in his head about oh, maybe I got that wrong, and he'll make up for it here, and he'll do that, and then it'll all be... Because I've seen it in loads of Palace games. I noticed in this one as well. He's not done anything, and then at the end it's
just yellow cards in batches for players and weird decisions that he hasn't given in one way, hasn't given to begin with and then gives it again. But yeah, I think with the penalty, it's Ronaldo, isn't it? It looks like a straight rugby tackle when you look at it.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know how he's so shocked that it's a penalty.
Yeah, that's a penalty all day. And then you have the one down the other end, don't you? Where, I mean, if you're given the first one, I think it is probably a penalty if you've given sorry, not the first one, the second one. But if you're given a penalty for that, you're going to be given a penalty every corner. So it's the Rico Henry one.
The Henry on Diarra. I called this the grappling game after that because it was just like clear, sort of made a like point, because I've given one, I have to give the other one. And as you say, if you're given them, you're going to be given loads of penalties a game, and it's just sort of like, it happens. It's in the box. Neither of them were like super bad. Like, I'm here for a bit of physicality in the box and like
that second
boxing
one,
people off a little bit.
That second one is unnecessary. That's the way I look at it. Like, there's no reason for him to be grappling him all the way down to the floor when the ball's nowhere near him as well. It's literally like, it's a complete rugby tackle. Like, where the other one is like a bit of pushing and grappling like you expect in a one. But the way, for me, is that one that gets given is just so blatantly a foul, and it's just unnecessary. Whereas the other ones I kind of get why they're necessary. And yeah, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but that's just how I felt about that one. But I think the missed pen was a shocking penalty from Shoutout.
Awful penalty. He tried to do that penalty technique and it absolutely flopped.
Was it with Brentford players all having to do like really wanky fucking penalty techniques? Like, I don't get it.
They must just be training with this awful penalty technique, and Kelleher doesn't seem to be that good a goalkeeper, so they probably go in training. I think Kelleher was at fault for the winner. I think he could have got a stronger hand on it from Isidore's header, and I mean, that late in the game, from a goalkeeper you've just spent nearly 15-20 mil on, I think you're expecting better from him in that moment.
I think he should be saving it. I know the attacker does everything right, like headering it into the ground, but I think the keeper, it goes just underneath him and through him, doesn't it? And it just wasn't very, very established Premier League team for Brentford not to see out that game, and that's probably the first time for me I'm maybe getting a bit of, maybe I am wide for Brentford now, especially with Wissa going. Maybe I'm starting to think, because we've talked about a lot of teams are picking up points that you want to worry about, and someone's got to go this season, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we always thought Brentford were going to be in or around there. Like they've set themselves up for a more difficult season than they have had in previous years, with obviously all of the talent they've lost, the manager that they lost, etc. This is always going to be a tougher time. I'm still going to hold the jury out on Brentford a little bit, because going away to Sunderland early in the season has proven really difficult task for my boys. So I think I'll give them, they were in this game. I think I think it's too early to judge Brentford, but you would like them to have got out of there with a point. Given the atmosphere, you would have liked them to have settled in defensively and been able to win that header that Isidore got.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not thinking that they're in trouble or anything, but just a little alarm bell in the back of my head for Brentford. But yeah, I need you to pronounce Lefebvre's name, or let me know if I'm doing it right, because I know you got called out on the pronunciation of his name in our predictions.
Lebris or Lefebvre? Enzo Lefebvre.
Lefebvre. Yeah,
that's what I'm going with.
Lefebvre. Yeah, we'll probably get some abuse for that. But yeah, he looked really good. He looked like everything I'm thinking Sunderland's fans were expecting from him this season. And do you think that was just down to Brentford allowing him to be that, or do you think he just stepped up and was like, cool, I'm going to be the man today?
No, I mean, he's a quality player. I've seen him a few times in his career, and he's looked really, really tidy. I think he is maybe going to be unlocked by some of the other incredible signings that Sunderland have made. I'm sure we're going to talk about them next week on our transfer show, because I'm really shocked that they've been able to get some of these through the door. Like even last night, getting Ajax's Brian Brobby, they've got Nordi Mukiele in. They've Lietjarel Geertruida. They signed from Leipzig. They've got some like Champions League level quality signings this summer, and I think I'm quickly turning from my predictions in pre-season. I'm liking the look of Sunderland's summer business. It was a lot, but they needed a lot. So
yeah.
And they've done, and I'm impressed by the quality of what they've brought in.
Yeah, and you got to think they probably will gel together from what we've seen from the outset. And if you got a stadium or a home fan base that's ready to be behind you no matter what and give you everything, I
mean, there's two wins out of your home games already. You get another seven or eight out of your home games.
You just got to make.
You're probably going to stay up.
Yeah, as long as your home's a fortress, it doesn't really matter what happens away. You pick up a draw here and there, and you're laughing. But
exactly.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think that's everything to touch on that game. Should we go into our next two games, which I can see in your notes you bundled together as video assistant dickheads?
Yes, that is how I've grouped these two games. So the first one was egregious, was the Chelsea 2 Fulham 0 game. I was just absolutely shocked by the Premier League and the refereeing group PGMOL. The foul in the disallowed goal for Josh King it's just not a foul. I don't know what the hell you want Muniz to do when he's spinning. He's in possession of the ball. Chalobah just runs into him and gets his foot stood on. It's a contact game that there's going to be accidental contact that isn't a foul. That's just going to happen. And I'm also just really gutted for Josh King. Like I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago, he'd started the season really well. Obviously Fulham hadn't brought in a lot of players over the summer, and he really looked like he was taking his chance to come into the first team, and this goal would have been a real sort of like cap to the start of his season. Like it would have been the first goal in the game, obviously getting Fulham a 1-0 lead at Stamford Bridge, and would have been just a really nice moment for the player. And yeah, I just think the game's gone if we're disallowing for something like that. Yeah,
it's shameful. Like my main note is Fulham were just screwed. Like they were completely screwed in this game, and I don't know what you can put it down to. You want to put it down to weird decisions at the beginning of the season, but I think we're past that period now where it's just fucking dreadful VAR decisions, and they're
not doing that against one of the big six teams. And what's worse is after the PGMOL apologised to Fulham for disallowing the goal, they took Michael Salisbury, who was the VAR for that game, for the Fulham Chelsea game, off being VAR for the Liverpool Arsenal game, because they know, they showed us in that very moment who matters to the Premier League and PGMOL, and that's Liverpool v Arsenal, the big six. Like they want to protect that. They don't mind screwing Fulham over, but we'll protect the big flashy game and the big six teams. We can't let them be interrupted by a refereeing decision. But fuck, it's just Fulham. We can fuck them over. And later in the game, like the penalty as well that Chelsea get. João Pedro fouls and handballs before Sessegnon, and it's just ignored. I think the foul is a little bit light, but he's not made any move to go for the ball. He's just pushed the player, he's just edged the player out of the way. But then the handball, his arm is so far away from his body. If that was
defender for Fulham, it probably would have given us a penalty. That's what I was thinking the whole time.
It was a second later.
Yeah, it literally was a second later. Maybe yes, the Sessegnon one I can accept is a penalty if you just look at how he's got his arm up and it hits him. But if you're ignoring all that before it, what's the fucking point? What if you're a Fulham fan? Also, someone else I put if you're a Fulham fan at half time after conceding in the 9th minute when there's a minimum of 8 minutes, but when you concede in after there's been 8 minutes because of a VAR decision being made, you're just there fuck this. What was the point of coming here where it's stacked against us already with a team that's spent billions in the last fucking 4 or 5 years, and you get refs going against you? I would have left at fucking half time. And then when the next penalty gets given, well, not next penalty, when the penalty gets given, you're I'm really fucking done with this now. In a West London derby, what's the fucking point? Because no one's going to remember this like in a year's time, are they? They're just going to be like, oh yeah, Fulham lost to Chelsea X amount of times at Stamford Bridge in the West London derby. And yeah, just bullshit, man. We've all been on the wrong end of it so much. We feel for Fulham fans. Feel for Hugo, like our Fulham fan that came and spoke to us before the beginning of the season. He must have been livid after this shit. And yeah, apology does nothing. It's not going to help Fulham, who have had a difficult start to the season. But I think...
I mean, you can push this result out of the window. It's not really fair to focus on Fulham and the start to the season they've had. They got a couple of draws, and then this one was just taken out of their hands by re-refereeing, and I think that's a lot of fans' main frustration with VAR is it's re-refereeing the game. We'll come on to it in a minute, but Scott Parker said it after Burnley's loss, like that we're not letting the game flow anymore. The game's gone really sterile. We're getting to the point where we're not celebrating goals as much as we were, because you're just like, oh, well, there's probably a foul in the play. Even earlier, the West Ham one, for the penalty for West Ham, there was what could have been a foul from Paqueta on Sangare, I think it was, and it was Gibbs White. And I was honestly shocked that they didn't bring it back for it. That I almost didn't celebrate getting the penalty, because it was just like, there's a foul that they probably bring it back for, and like that's what they did for this one. And it's inconsistent. It's clearly protecting the big six teams. Like VAR, I'm not a fan at all.
No, I don't think I was a fan. I think touching on, like you're saying about not celebrating, spoke about it last season, but even at live games, I don't really celebrate as much as I used to, unless it goes like a 60-yard screamer. But I've learned that fucking you can't even celebrate those, because a man might be 1 metre neck too close to the wall or shit like that. But yeah, it's killing some of the most important bits of football. But no one's going to care, because I think us two, more than anyone, knows how much money's invested into VAR. Thanks to a job you previously worked at and one that I work at now.
Yeah, so it's not going anywhere. But let's go on to the other game that had a VAR rubbish as well. Man United 3, Burnley 2. As I said earlier, Burnley were robbed in this one.
Yeah, I want to move away from the VAR rubbish on this game to begin with, just to say Burnley fucking showed they can do stuff in this game. Like, these fucking three that came up aren't here to just make up the numbers. They're here to fucking play this year. And I felt for Burnley big time. I think my main problem with Burnley, Kyle Walker just doesn't look good. He looks a bit shot for me. Do you feel the same at all? Or?
I think he's still got a little bit of pace, but it's not as much pace as he had beforehand. But I thought he was harsh done for the what was given as a free kick that led to Man United's first. I thought it was a pretty good tackle. Like, I think he gets the ball first and then gets the man. Like that to me is a good tackle. As long as you get your foot on the ball first, take all of the man if you want.
Yeah, I just think there was more in the game that he just looks like, without that pace, he's kind of getting a bit exposed. But I guess that's what you expect. But yeah, the rest of Burnley, they look like a strong side.
I thought they weren't that good in the first half, but then in the second half they came out and were the better team for a lot of it. Like they started off the second half really well. Bruno Larson, really nice cross into Lyle Foster, gets the first goal for Burnley. And then one thing I just have to say is you've got to focus, man. If this was Football Manager, I'd be furiously tapping that focus shout from the manager, because it's 90 seconds between equaliser and United's route 1 second goal. It was just a long ball over the top, flick on, and then they were through in behind Burnley's defence. And it's just that's the most gutting sort of goal to concede, is when you're just it was unnecessary. All you needed was your head switched on, and you'd have cleared that 99 times out of 100. You're getting rid of that sort of ball, but you for whatever reason you took your eye off the ball. And then for me, they capitalised on chaos for the second one. Anthony gets his second goal of the season, just in the right place at the right time. That's nice. And there's I skipped over one because you didn't want to touch on the VAR yet, but let me know when you're ready and I'll go.
Yeah, I guess we kind of have to talk to the VAR, because you've knocked off most of the things I've said. I mean, a token fuck Sam Barrett for being obviously at the centre of a game where there's fucking controversy. Who saw that one coming? But yeah, should we start with the where should we start? The VAR for the disallowed goal, which
I don't know what offside is anymore.
Nah, well,
I honestly took a screenshot of it, and I still don't, like, I was looking at it. I don't know what offside is.
So
like,
did you hear the reasoning that's come out for it? So basically,
is it something about his sleeve or whatever?
No. So this isn't VAR; it's the automated offside. But the automated offside can't, or whatever, they can't show us an angle of it, but they trust the automated offside like technology to tell us it's offside. So just because they can't show us the angle and they can't see it for themselves, they trust the technology enough that it gets given as offside, which is fucking crazy. I guess, whatever, no, fuck it, I'm not trusting technology. Put it out the window. If you can't see it with your own eyes, give the fucking attacker the advantage. Like,
I've recently rewatched all of the Terminator films, so definitely fuck not trusting technology.
But that one, yeah, you got to feel for Burnley big time there. But because that's their game plan as well, is like beating that offside and getting in behind. Like, who's it? Foster doing it constantly.
It was Foster again, like, and Foster's someone that I didn't think would be able to make the step up to the Premier League, and then in this game he should have had two. Like, I feel really harsh on him. Like, he is also, like, the picture that they show of the offside part. The only thing that's over is his arm, and you can't score with your arm. No. So we've desanitized football so much that we're just, like, in this position where, like, that we're talking about millimeters, and that's not what offside was brought in for. Offside was brought in to stop goal hanging, like stop someone standing 10 yards offside so they can't just pump the ball over the top. Now we're talking in, like, millimeters, and it's just like, we want to see goals in this game. Like, I think everyone does. Why are we making these insane calls to stop that happening?
Because the media want something to talk about on Monday morning, let's be honest, man.
I mean, here we are talking about it, but it's just pure frustration, and Burnley fans can feel really aggrieved by this, and for me, they can also feel aggrieved by the penalty that was given late on.
Fuck me, man. This was a real bad one as well. Like, Jane Anthony goes from hero to zero, as the media was saying, but it was like, yes, he's pulled his shirt, but it clearly starts from outside the box. Like,
and it barely continues inside. Like, the thing is, they say, like, oh, the contact continued inside the box. It is millimeters inside the box, because, like, the majority of it's outside, and it within one frame of the camera, as soon as Diallo's inside the box, it's let go, like, it's not touching it. So I don't think anyone can say with absolute certainty that the pull continued inside the box enough for this to be, like, if he riding him, like, 10 yards in, fine, but, like, it's like millimeters, and it's just not a penalty.
When's it ever been a rule that it continues into the box?
It's something they brought in in the last couple of years, because it used to be, hey, contact was started outside the box, and then they changed it at some point, just because, you know, they'd just be changing the worst things.
Burnley are not getting that down the other end. We know that 100%.
Of course not.
Like, fucking, it's ridiculous. Like, Burnley fans, same, I guess, as Fulham, like Tom said, brush one under the rug, take the positives. I mean, it was good on Match of the Day. They spent no time talking about Burnley, which I thought was fucking egregious, because, yeah, that's why I wanted to start with Burnley, because I think they put a fucking shift in. Yes, they probably could have been down a few in the first half, if we're being totally honest, but they came back and showed they got some bollocks to them this season, and they're not going to go out with a whimper like when we saw them with Company, which, yeah, I think is great for them. And I'm not looking forward to playing any side this year, apart from Villa, it seems, because, yeah, we've got a curse over them, but every side in the league is showing something. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm not seeing much from Leeds yet, apart from the win against Everton.
Right, let's go to sad 0-0 corner. My quick fire round: Leeds 0, Newcastle 0. My one thing for Leeds is, do Leeds have enough firepower? Calvert-Lewin, Nemecha, Pirro. I'm not seeing the goals there that's going to keep them up. Even like Dan James and stuff like they've signed a couple of players. Maybe it'll take them some time to bed in. They might improve. I know they've got no Okafor and that, but I just don't 100% know if they've got enough firepower to keep him up. And then from a Newcastle point of view, they've signed Volta Messi, as he's dubbed in Germany, Voltamada and Visser, and they got rid of the snake Isak. So, we might actually see what Newcastle are about come after the international break or in the next few weeks. But yeah, first 3 weeks it's too much rubbish going on outside that we kind of just have to throw that out and hope it doesn't come back to bite them losing those points. But yeah, that's all I got for that 0-0.
Yep, and I got nothing to say about 0-0, so that one go in the bin. But yeah, maybe I'm looking forward to playing West Ham as well this season. West Ham at least so far, but everyone else I'm worried about. Famous last words.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, mate. We'll see you for the other 14 FC derby. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'm setting it up for that one for when you win, and then you can probably give it to me. But yeah, cool. Let's take a break because I feel like we've gone there quite long, and we'll come back with peak Barclaysman. Yep.
Okay, we're back. So Tom, who do you have for us for peak Barclaysman this week?
I think there's only one way to introduce this guy. Feed the yak and he will score. It's Yakubu.
Oh, mate, what an absolute baller. I'm thinking Pompey. I'm thinking, who else did he play for as well?
Middlesbrough, Everton, and even Blackburn during the Venky's years.
Oh, mate, what an absolute player. There's no one that screams prime Barclaysman more than Yakubu in my mind, really.
Yeah, I mean, baggy shirt, just banging in goals. He was a really talented player. Fourth highest scoring African in Premier League history with 96 goals. It's funny, his actually most prolific prolific season was in his last year of the Premier League with Blackburn during the Venky's relegation year, where he actually scored 17 goals, but wasn't enough to keep Blackburn up. But yeah, man, just pure iconic, naughty striker. Felt like he was scoring every week.
Mate, it does feel like a proper powerhouse striker. Scored kind of a bit of every goal as well. Maybe not so much your long ranges, but more like he would use his fucking body to muscle out of it, get a go here and there, tap ins here and there. But yeah, a proper super eagle because he was Nigerian, wasn't he?
Yeah, Nigerian lad, and yeah, really good poacher. But as you say, he had a bit more in his tank than just getting on the end. It wasn't just a fox in the box kind of thing. He showed really good talent with the ball as well. Obviously, he's signed by Harry Redknapp, who will come up, as we say, every week. He's touched all of these prime Barclays players, and yeah, then after his time at Pompey, he helped Middlesbrough reach the 2006 UEFA Cup final. I think that a lot of memories about that, losing to Sevilla 4-0, but that was a proper nice run for Middlesbrough, and an early other 14 FC days making their ventures into Europe, which we've seen a bit of recently. So, and then visually, I think I go to his time at Everton or Portsmouth as the sort of standout for me, just sort of in those big baggy blue shirts, just looking like an absolute tank.
For me, it's definitely Portsmouth. The shirt we've already talked about, Terry Sheringham, the TY sponsored Portsmouth shirt, which I think is an all-time Premier League classic. In all honesty. Yeah,
and then I'm going to hand over to you for the funny story about Yakubu.
Okay, so I think when he signed, Harry Redknapp gave him a bet that if he scored 20 league goals that season, he would give him £20,000 at the end of the season, thinking, this is never ever going to happen. And then he gets to the last game of the season against Middlesbrough, funnily enough, where the team he would end up playing for, and he goes on to score 4 goals in the game in a 5-0 win. And Harry Redknapp comes off and he's talking to Yakubu. He's like, great game, so happy for you. And Yakubu's there just a bit sad, a bit pissed off. He's like, what's upset with you? He's like, I needed one more goal for the bet. And Harry Redknapp's like, Jesus Christ, if I'd known that, you would have been off after the fucking first goal. That's so Harry Redknapp, isn't it? And I feel like maybe we should have a peak Barclays episode on just Harry Redknapp himself, because there's so much.
We probably will.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's everything on Yakubu then, isn't it? Do you have anything else in the bread bin?
No, just where we're going to put him in the list, man. I'm thinking quite close to the top. We've got Mark Viduka first. And I'm thinking maybe Yakubu slots in just behind Viduka, or are you putting him ahead of Viduka?
So we got Mark Viduka, Michu, Morten Gams Pedersen are our top 3 at the moment. I might be pushing to have him in number 1.
Should we go for it? Number 1, Yakubu.
It's a big move, but I think you got to put Yakubu as number 1.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Feed the yak and he will score. Number one.
Yep, we'll have the graphic up there for everyone to look at now, hopefully. And yeah, apart from that, we don't have any predictions this week. You have to hold on till next week when we have our transfer special, and we'll do our predictions for the games then. But yeah, otherwise, rate and review the podcast, tell your friends. Like we said earlier, if you want to send in any voice notes or videos about how you feel your team did over the weekend, feel free. More than happy to include them within our reviews so you don't have to listen to our nonsense anymore. Otherwise, socials, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Reddit at other14fc podcast, and email in at other14fcpodcast@gmail.com. But otherwise, Tom, I'll catch you next week.
Catch you next week, mate.
Cheers.